Hey, hi, hello team. My name is Monique, this is The Cauldron, and today we are going to look at some atmospheric reads that I think are perfect for fall. In case you weren't aware, this is BookWitch Reviews, my channel where I speak about books and haul books and also occasionally try to recommend some to you. So that is what we are doing today. So I am a scaredy cat. I can't do horror books, I can just about do thrillers, I can do monster boys, that's completely fine, but mainly I like being cozy and safe during the spooky months. So I have found some books that I find highly atmospheric that are perfect for, you know, like sitting, cozying up with a little cup of tea, coffee. I need one of those, bear with. So here we are, we are ready for some still, like, I would still say that they have some adventure in them, but mainly they are just beautifully written books with like lyrical prose and just some nice autumn atmosphere, and I'm excited about it. So first up on my list is the wonderful, beautiful The Binding by Bridget Collins, which is this just very softly spoken book that whispers from your shelves. Because literally I read it, was heartbroken, and now it's one of those books that I just think about and I'm like immediately need to be in a castle somewhere in a long black cape staring mortally out into the moors about my dead husband who I may or may not have murdered. But anyway, this book follows a young man who somehow, though he's not sure how, has become the apprentice to a bookbinder. And these bookbinders are seen as like a necessity in the community, but they are also ostracized and pushed out because the people are like, we need them, but we don't like them. But the bookbinders aren't just obviously like normal bookbinders. When these bookbinders take a memory or gets told a story, basically, they take away the memory from that person, which can obviously be both a good thing and a bad thing. And as we sort of move into this book, which is going in two different timelines, we're going in the current timeline where our young apprentice is learning about this bookbinding. And then also at the same time, we are going before this bookbinding, and he feels like there's this black hole. And then one day he finds a story that has like a mention of him in it, and that's the sort of where our plot really takes off. And it is just a very, very beautiful book in all these ways. It has a queer rep, it also has a lot of triggers for sexual assault and abuse, and I highly recommend that you check out what kind of triggers it has before you pick it up. But also, can we just talk about how stunning this book is. She has another book coming out really soon. I'm super excited about it. Also just the inside, like the end papers, it's stunning. I highly recommend that you pick this up if you would like some, you know, atmospheric reading but not spooky. The next book we are going to talk about is this baby. This fat motherfucker has been stuck in my brain since I read it, which I think is about 2 years ago, and I desperately want to have a reread of it. The Queens of Venezuela by Tessa Gratton is a King Lear retelling where we follow 3 princesses who each have a certain idea of who they were meant to be and who was meant to be the heir to this very small island kingdom that has magic. It is all about astronomy and signs and stars and being able to read them and prophets, and the magic is just all consuming and all wonderful. And these 3 sisters have this very odd relationship to each other. 2 of them are very close and the last one is very young, and she has had this idea her whole life of being a star priestess, and then right in the beginning of the book she gets named heir instead of the oldest sister, and it brings them into this very like sort of compulsionary like warfare. It's a very political book. It is very soft spoken, it is very slow and meticulous and detailed, and I absolutely adore it. But when I read it I thought I hated it, and then I put it aside and was going to take it back and was like, oh, okay, I'll give it away, and now I'm like, I must read it again. It's just so weird and so wonderful and just magical, mysterious, wonderful. Please read more Tessa Gratton. She's one of those authors that I am just like in awe at, because she writes these weird, wonderful things. And Lady Hotspur is one of my favorite books this year, and it's just queer knights, and it is connected vaguely to the Queens of Venezuela, and I love it immensely. Okay, next up we come into something that is just very fall-esque. It just brings you like lovely walking in the woods kind of vibes, and it is An Enchantment of Ravens by Margeret Rogerson. This is a short little wonderful fairy book where we follow a young woman who is a painter who has been commissioned by a lot of the fae to make paintings of them, and then what really gets the story going is that she accidentally paints sorrow into the King of Fall or the Prince of Fall's eyes, and that is a big no-no in the fairy world because they are not humans, and she gets taken to trial, and it's just this funny bantery little story. And it's just it's wonderful and lyric, and Margeret Rogerson writes these amazing like standalones that I always want more books to, which just hurt me because I know for a fact that they're standalones. But this is very atmospheric, very like, I keep saying soft spoken, that's apparently the word of today, and it's just wonderful. And also I can't with how stunning this cover is. It's everything. It's all we want. Next up we have a book that is a little bit more on the spooky thrillery side. I still wouldn't say that it's scary whatsoever, and that is Winterwood by Shea Ernshaw. In this we follow a young woman who is of the Walker family, and the Walker women have always been near the woods. They are thought of as witches, but at the same time they are just these like odd women who each have a gift or a present or something that they can do that no one else can. And our young main protagonist, one day as she's out walking in the woods, and she finds a young man who a week or two before disappeared from this wayward camp for boys across the lake. But basically he doesn't remember how he got there, and he shouldn't be able to be there. And as we sort of move forward through the story, it tangles and encroaches on, brings us in this full circle of like wonder. And though the very ending I got slightly annoyed by, I still absolutely adored the way that this is written, the storytelling, and just there are these small passages in between the pages where they are from like the grimoire of this Walker women's family. So they're basically like spells, and they are telling stories of the previous Walker women, and this is this book, it makes me want to read it again. It's wonderful. And last but not least, we have one of my favorite books from last year, and it is The Bone Houses by Emily Lloyd-Jones, which is this wonderful adventure, little bit of horror, little bit of thrillery book where we follow a young grave digger as she sort of tries to save her family and keep them safe from these skeletons or these people that just don't stay dead, which apparently in this world seem to be a normal thing, but normally they are like, they just get lost, and she just takes them back to their graves and puts them back in. But now they are getting violent, they won't leave people alone, they are killing people. And so she sets out with this young map maker to figure out why this has happened. This is a book about grief, it is a book about family, it is a book about past and present and future, and I adore it. And there is a zombie goat in it, and it's my favorite. And I adore this book, not just for the writing and the cover, but just because it spoke deeply to me as a person who has lost a parent. And I just thought it was very, very beautifully taken care of. I thought it was very well crafted, and I adored it. It brings me joy. Okay, it brings me the good stuff. That is it, team. These are 5 very atmospheric, just a little bit maybe like spooky thrillery recommendations that I have for you today. These are all books that I wish that I could reread during the fall when I'm cozy and I have coffee and I can just sit and embrace myself. Embroil myself? No, that makes me sound like I'm cooking myself. Just immerse myself in this beautiful writing of all of these books. So I highly recommend each of them if you like books that are a little bit detailed, if you like books that speak a little bit more freely flowing, or a little bit less fast about getting to the plot, but it's a lot more about looking about what is around you as you go along. And it's just beautiful, and I just keep using the same word for all of these books, but you know, this is okay, I can live with that. So I hope you found some recommendations for this. If you have any fall recommendations that are not scary, please leave them in the comments below. And then if you did enjoy this, please don't forget to hit that thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button at the same time so you don't miss out on any other videos from me. You can also click the little bell, which will give you a notification when I put up a new video, which is very often. at least Monday and Wednesday anyway. And then I hope that you are having a wonderful time in this spooky-ish season, and take care of yourself. I'm proud of you and you're doing great. I'll see you really soon. Bye. Oh, coffee.